breaking news that we're following out of Kansas City right now after the arraignment of Andrew Lester. Of course, the AP saying an 84-year-old white man accused of shooting Ralph Yarl, a black teenager, pleads not guilty in court. We were seeing this video here from a little bit earlier on Live and Now from Fox at the arraignment taking place there. You can see the 84-year-old getting up with a cane there in the background as Andrew Lester, the 84-year-old white man accused of shooting Ralph Yarl, has pleaded not guilty in his first court appearance on Wednesday. Lester, he was in court to answer charges of first-degree assault and armed criminal action in the shooting, which has attracted presidential attention and renewed national debate about gun policies. Lester turned himself in on Tuesday and was later released on bond after agreeing to relinquish any weapons and have no contact with Yarl or his family. He also agreed to have his cell phone monitored. Yarl was shot at point-blank range in the head, but miraculously survived the bullet, his family's attorney said on Tuesday. Some civil rights leaders have urged prosecutors to charge Lester with a hate crime. An action attorney, Lee Merritt, said was warranted in Yarl's shooting, quote, because he was armed only with his black skin. Of course, Clay County prosecutor Zachary Thompson said first-degree assault is a higher-level crime, allowing a longer sentence than a hate crime charge would. Though activists had called for the U.S. Department of Justice to investigate, it was unclear whether it would do so. Messages seeking comment from the department not returned to the Associated Press. Of course, we heard from officials on the ground in Missouri, in Kansas City over the last few days. Of course, Yarl is an award honor student and an all-state band member, mistakenly went to the 115th Street, a block away from where he was meant to be. When he rang the bell, Lester came to the door and used a .32 caliber Smith & Wesson revolver to shoot Yarl in the forehead, then the right forearm. Of course, Lester told police that he lives alone and he was, quote, scared to death when he saw Yarl on the porch because he thought someone was trying to break in. Of course, this, again, is video inside the courtroom as Andrew Lester, the 84-year-old man, pleading not guilty after the shooting of Ralph Yarl. Let's take you out to some comments there from lawyers on the ground in Missouri here on Live Now from Fox.
Attention on their family constantly at every hour of the day.
To be honest, the family kind of reached a point of burnout yesterday. That's why you see me standing here by myself today. We cut off all interviews and questions, and they just need some time to try to get back to some semblance of normalcy.
I saw you were with Ralph.
What would be your argument if the defense pursues a stand your ground claim?
Well, stand your ground is completely inapposite in this case because he was in his home. I think the more appropriate...
The Castle Doctrine.
Yeah,
what if the defendant pursues a Castle Doctrine claim?
The Castle Doctrine is allowable as a defense if you are confronted with force in your home or your property is. And so he would first have to establish that the 16-year-old boy he shot was somehow a threat to him or his property, and I don't think he'll be able to establish that.
I know you're here for the legal front and things of that nature, but obviously the condition of Ralph is important. We saw you sitting with him on yesterday. Can you give us an update on how that 16-year-old is doing at this hour?
I was blown away to be able to sit with Ralph on his porch and talk about music and talk about how this experience has been for him. To speak with him at all, he is a literally walking, talking miracle. And so that was a huge source of relief for me. His recovery is going to be an ongoing process. And so although he appears to be doing well, it's only by comparison to how he ought to be doing. But there's still a long way to go.
After this arraignment, are you still wanting more charges against Mr. Lester?
We're looking forward to a federal review of this case and federal charges as well.
Civil rights violations?
That's right.
When is he planning to go back to school?
Oh, that's a good question. So he has a competition on the 27th that he's really been looking forward to. He's not going to be able to do that. That's one of the conversations we had with his parents yesterday. He was holding on to the hope that possibly he could engage in it, but it was balanced by an offer to perform at the White House.
Oh. And he accepted, I assume?
Yes.
When is that going to happen?
We don't know yet.
What kind of competition was it?
It was state of Missouri. I think it's at, I'm going to be making up facts. Not exactly.
Music?
It was a music competition.
What is Ralph made of the outpouring from the community, from the country?
Ralph is completely humbled by it, almost too much so. He reads it, he's hearing from his friends. He had some classmates, parents here today, and he says, I don't know why everyone's making a big deal out of me. You know, it's just me, right? It's not like the president was shot, and the president told him that you might be the future president. So
What did he say to that?
he said he didn't think he had the leadership qualities for the president. And that answer alone showed that he in fact does.
So you saw for the first hand yesterday the community support here in Kansas City that's been here.
Yeah.
What was it like addressing them and getting the opportunity to speak to them, a group of people that have not stopped, have not wavered, and making sure that they're speaking for the Ralph family or the Yarl family when they can?
You can feel the love for Ralph in the community, and I feel like I got to stand in his place, and people wanted to love on me the way that they want to love on Ralph. It was really uplifting, and I am so relieved that as I leave here and travel back and forth from my home, that he has a community that is 10 toes down for him everywhere he goes.
Legally, do you have any concerns about this case and a possible, exoneration from Mr. Lester when you look at the probable cause and you look at what has happened here? Is there any concern?
I don't have any concern about under the law. I have concern because of the culture. And in American jurisprudence, it is difficult to convict a white man for harming a black child. It should not be so, and I'm hoping this case turns the tide.
What happens next? There's a hearing on June 1st.
Right. So he didn't waive his preliminary hearing. A preliminary hearing wasn't set, which would be a presentation of whether or not these charges should be here at all. His lawyer didn't say that they would not ask for a preliminary hearing. They just didn't set one today. And so the next is a docket reading. Again, it's more than a month out. That is frustrating for this family. We want to see speedy justice.
Who's his attorney? Who is his attorney?
What is a docket reading?
That will happen on that day.
Hopefully that's when a calendar, the entire trial process will be calendared. So discovery, the trial date, etc.
And one other question, are you frustrated, forgive me if this has already been answered, by the fact that he is not in custody?
And that has been answered. I am, and the family is frustrated about that, yes, sir.
Lee, I want to ask you something that Mr. Lester told KCPD detectives. He claimed that Ralph tried to open the door to his home. What does Ralph say about that?
I haven't even seen him make that claim, but he certainly never put his hand on the door. Mind you, touching the door in and of itself wouldn't be enough to justify the use of deadly force. But Ralph rang the doorbell and waited quietly outside until the door was open. It took a while because obviously Mr. Lester was retrieving his weapon, but Ralph did not try to enter that home.
What do you make of the KCPD and the Clay County prosecutor? Their messaging has been race played a component, but it is your belief that it was the central idea here. Can you talk about that?
Well, I don't know that it was the central idea, and the reason that we don't see hate crime charges coming from the state level is because Mr. Lester would have literally had to go out and look for Ralph and want to commit a crime against him because he was black. The issue here was that he saw his blackness as a threat, and that mindset is dangerous, and that there should be statutes in Missouri built around that. We believe the federal statutes will allow us to prosecute Mr. Lester for hate crime at the federal level.
You're just listening in there as attorneys outside of the courtroom there in Kansas City is Andrew Lester pleading not guilty after the shooting of that teenager, Ralph Yarl. Of course, you also heard the miraculous recovery underway for Yarl, also getting an invitation to the White House to play as he's an all-state member there of the band at his school there, Staley High School, I believe, in Kansas City.